Okay, let's talk about one of the most common dilemmas you face at the grocery store. You're in the bread aisle, looking at two choices that both seem pretty healthy. So today, we are going to finally settle the score: sourdough versus whole wheat. You've definitely been there, right? You're just staring at this wall of bread, and you're thinking, okay, both of these seem like a good idea, but which one is actually better for me? Let's break it down. Well, you don't have to wonder anymore. We're about to dive deep into the science behind these two fan-favorite breads and figure out which one really comes out on top. So let's get started with the ancient classic. First up in the ring, we have sourdough. You know, the ancient bread that has this amazing reputation for being super easy on your stomach. But why is that? What's the secret? Well, the real magic of sourdough isn't just about the flour and water. Nope. It is all about its unique, slow fermentation process. It uses wild yeast and something called lactic acid bacteria, and this process completely transforms the dough. What's happening here is actually pretty incredible. That long fermentation, it's basically pre-digesting the flour for you. It starts breaking down some of the gluten, it reduces these tricky compounds called FODMAPs, and it even neutralizes things called phytates that can stop your body from absorbing key minerals. So you might be asking, what on earth are FODMAPs? Well, they're just specific types of carbs that can be really tough for some of us to digest. They can lead to bloating and gas, and they're a particular problem for anyone with IBS. Sourdough's fermentation process brings those FODMAP levels way down, making it a much gentler option. And look, this isn't just some popular theory. One of the registered dietitians we looked at pointed out that this unique preparation makes sourdough a really strong choice for anyone with digestive sensitivities. So the main takeaway? For a lot of people, it's just plain easier on the gut. But hold on, sourdough isn't the only contender here. In the other corner, we have the heavyweight champion of fiber, whole wheat bread. And believe me, when it comes to fiber, its power is undeniable. So just how much fiber are we talking about? Get this. A single slice of whole wheat bread packs in 2.71 grams. That is a serious boost from just your morning toast. And that fiber does so much more than you might think. It's not just about, keeping things moving. It actually acts as food for all the good bacteria in your gut. Plus, it slows down digestion, which is the secret to helping you feel fuller for longer. And the benefits of all that whole grain goodness, they really add up over time. Eating whole grains consistently is linked to a lower risk of several major diseases. We're talking type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even some types of cancer. That's a pretty powerful health resume right there. All right, both contenders have shown their strengths. Now it's time for the tale of the tape. Let's put their nutritional stats right next to each other and see how they really stack up. Okay, let's look at the numbers for just one slice. Right off the bat, whole wheat wins on fiber and it's lower in calories. But wait, sourdough pulls ahead on protein and, this is the surprising part, it has a massive lead when it comes to iron. And that iron difference, it is huge. We're talking 13% of your daily value from one slice of sourdough, compared to less than 3% from whole wheat. So why is that? It's because that fermentation process makes minerals like iron more bioavailable, which is just a fancy way of saying your body can actually absorb and use them. Now here is another really crucial difference: how each bread hits your blood sugar. Sourdough has what's called a glycemic index of 54, while whole wheat is way up at 71. That lower score for sourdough is great news. It means it causes a slower, more gradual rise in blood sugar, which is so much better for stable energy levels. So after all of that, who wins the great bread debate? Let's reframe that question. It's not really about which bread is the best overall, but which bread is the best for you. The honest truth is, there isn't one single champion here. Both sourdough and whole wheat are fantastic choices. The real winner of this showdown really just depends on your personal health goals and how your own body responds. So here's a really simple guide to help you choose. Pick sourdough if you have a sensitive stomach, if you're trying to manage your blood sugar, or if you could use an iron boost. On the other hand, go for whole wheat if your main goal is to get as much fiber as possible, you're focused on long-term disease prevention, and you want to stay full. The bottom line is, you are now totally equipped to make a smart decision the next time you're standing in that bread aisle. So the only question left to ask is, based on what you need, which one are you going to choose?